The Prime Minister has offered his congratulations to the couple. He says, David Cameron said, "I'm delighted for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge now."
Highly protective of it for family reasons, and also from his own experience as a young boy and with his mother and so on, but also protective of his young wife coming into the royal family. He's after all been trained. He's always known that he would eventually become Prince of Wales and eventually become king, but I think for the Duchess of Cambridge this is still a new experience, and she's had the profound experience of giving birth. And I think they're both, as a couple, very conscious of the enormous public interest and the fact that that's all based very much on goodwill. But equally, they all want to be seeking their own sort of area of privacy with their child. We saw this after their marriage. They lived simply most of the time in Anglesey and have been used to spending quite a lot of time on their own together. And somehow they've got to mix that with this huge public interest, and there'll be the milestone moments for their child where we'll see them occasionally, but I wouldn't expect the access to be constant at all.
And we've just heard that the Prime Minister has offered his congratulations to the couple. He says, David Cameron said, "I'm delighted for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge now that their son has been born." And of course, being a son, we don't have all the huge moment of history that we would have had if it had been a girl.
No.
Oh, here comes the notice. Let's just enjoy this moment. Elsa Anderson and one of the livery footmen.
Elsa Anderson is the Queen's press secretary.
A very simple, by the looks of it, statement, if we can read it from here. Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cambridge, was safely delivered of a son at 4:24 p.m. today. Her Royal Highness and her child are both doing well. Signed there by some of the medical team who attended to her birth. A very simple, but a very traditional royal custom to do it like that.
That's right, either on the railings or on the easel, and in that very simple way that the doctors and the hospital have put together.
And she's had, Louisa, let me bring you in again, a very sort of well-experienced medical team looking after her all this time.
Yes, she has had Marcus Setchell, who is former royal gynaecologist, and also Alan Farthing, the current gynaecologist. So she has been in very good hands indeed, and also at the Lindo wing, the private wing of St Mary's Hospital in Paddington, which has a long-standing link with the royal family. It was opened by the Queen Mother in 1937, and she was president of St Mary's Paddington until her death in
the firstborn of the Royal Highness, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, the third in line to the throne. Our new prince is the third grandchild of Her Majesty the Queen and the great grandchild of the Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales. May he be long-lived, happy and glorious, and one day reign over us. God save the Queen!
And how the British people view their monarch.
Her Royal Highness, the Princess Elizabeth, Duchess of Edinburgh, was safely delivered of a prince at 9:14 p.m.
In the past, there was a formality to the royal birth announcements. Much has changed. After Prince William was born at St Mary's Hospital, his father spoke to the media.
How is Lady Di?
She's very well, Vicky. Marvellous.
Was it a very painful experience?
Have you ever had a baby?
No, I haven't. I should wait and see.
And from the moment the new prince appeared on the hospital steps, it was clear his upbringing would be different, less formal. He learnt to deal with the cameras at an early age at regular photo calls. There were some unguarded moments, public shows of affection. And even as his parents' marriage broke down, on important days the family was usually together. William will now be fiercely protective of his wife and child, but controlling the level of interest from the public and the media is increasingly problematic.
The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will probably say, we know people are interested in this child, but we don't want them set upon, we don't want them frightened, and we don't want them in any way to not think they can't live a really ordinary, happy childhood.
Diana brought her sons up here at Kensington Palace. William and Catherine will bring their son up here too. But he'll also have another strong influence in his life, the Middletons. The Duchess of Cambridge's childhood memories are of a strong family unit in rural Berkshire. Royal life appears not to have diminished that bond. And there is speculation that the Duchess will now go home to Mum for a few weeks.
I think Carol Middleton will play quite a big part in the upbringing of this royal baby. Kate is very close to her, and she is the only grandmother. Diana, sadly, is no longer around. So I think the grand maternal duties will fall to Carol Middleton.
William's childhood broke with tradition. By royal standards, there was greater freedom.
Camera.
It was more normal, there was less restraint. He is likely to want the same for his son, a little boy who will one day be king. Daniela Ralph, BBC News.
Well, I must just read you the statement from the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall on the birth of the Prince's first grandchild. He says that both my wife and I are overjoyed at the arrival of their first grandchild. It's an incredibly special moment for William and Catherine, and we're so thrilled for them on the birth of their baby boy. Grandparenthood, he says, is a unique moment in anyone's life, as countless kind people have told me in recent months, so I'm enormously proud and happy to be a grandfather for the first time. And he says we're eagerly looking forward to seeing the baby in the near future. And if anyone was in doubt or had failed to tune into the news that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have had their baby and that it's a boy in London, they only need to look up and see the BT Tower there with "It's a Boy" emblazoned in bold letters, shining that out right over the capital. Well, I'm joined here outside the palace by huge crowds, but also by the Conservative MP Michael Ellis. The whole